What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brennan. I'm BMax45, and today we're coming at you with another video. We have our market analysis for the Digimon TCG like we try to do every Friday, and it's Friday and now, so we're here to bring you some of these prices here. We're going to be looking at a number of different things. We're going to be looking at some leftovers from EX9, but mostly we're going to be focusing on the hype train that is BT22, looking at cards that are being affected by BT22. Pre-release is next week. We're already a week away from the next set, which is crazy. We're also going to be looking at some things that are coming out of the tournament scene, the meta, what's changing with that, as well as looking at some pricing prices for certain cards. But let's get into it. Let's talk about it right away, and let's see what's going on with the market and see if we can get you guys some really good information. And hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of the fun. Alright, well, we're starting off looking at Digimon. This is one of my favorite cards out of EX9, the puppet stuff. And we're looking more so to see what's going on with it. It's been trending downwards. Still one of the best alts in the set, 23, 25 bucks. But it's definitely trending down here. And you can see there's tons of copies on the market. So I would, you might be able to hold out and maybe get this for under 20 bucks, which would be really, really great. I mean, the super rares are like a little bit more than 10. So I mean, like it's less than double the cost of just buying the regular art. So that's really, really cool. So keep an eye out for this, because this is where we haven't had any tournaments yet. So EX9 hasn't had any performance tests. Once we start seeing this week's tournament results, if there's any decks and cards that are coming in from EX9, this is when the price hikes will happen, and they will happen fast. So keep your eyes out for that. If you hear anything about, Kaguyamon or puppet support decks topping, get to your local market, get to your local card scene, and get this before the price gets up, because this is where kind of things coming in. Same with things like this Machinedramon. It is now the best alt in the set, not counting low pull rates or double star alts, but this is the best card. It was being beat by Omnimon Ultra S, but Omnimon Ultra S has actually went down a bit, and so this is now the best one, sitting at about 35 bucks. That is your best one, and it is your secret alt, so that is really, really cheap, honestly. An indication of where the set has been heading. It's just been going down. Again, there's lots of copies. I don't see it changing unless someone tops an event with it, or unless multiple people top an event with a Machinedramon deck. As well as the Kaguyamon Hanimon is the best foil in the set. If you pull this is your best bang for your buck. This is what's going to make you your most money. It is seeing a dip. It went up, and now it is seeing a drop here. So it's even coming down. Mostly like $15. Again, that will go up if this deck does well at a tournament. So this is kind of the testing point for that. If you want them, I'd get them now, because they could go up. And 15 bucks for this is not that bad. And you don't even need, I've been only testing 2 copies, so you don't even need a playset, but which might be explaining why this is coming back down, because it's not a card people are generally playing. Maybe not, I don't know, just my feelings, might not be playing 4 of in the deck. Looking at Analog Youth, this card had a spike. We talked about it, I believe, in another video. The regular super had gone up like 10 bucks. This had gone up to 27 bucks. You can see here it down, and then spiked, and it's coming back down. So it's back down to 15 bucks. So I guess that hype was just, and that was after the set came out. There was a little bit of hype with it. And so I think that's kind of worn off now. I mean, if we go look here, we can see the regular super is still 10 to 12 bucks, so you're only paying a couple extra bucks more for the alt, so that's not too bad of a price difference really right there. So I mean, it's still an analog card, and the super is still expensive, one of the best supers to pull in the set. Not necessarily the best alt, but I would definitely, I would say you missed your chance to move this for those high prices, so you might want to wait to see if that happens again, or if you're looking to pick up, now might be the time, because like I said, why pick up this for $12 when you can pick this up for 15? So just keep that in mind. Getting into the hype train for BT22 Arena. Oh my gosh, just look at that, $85 a pop. Most recent sale $73. You can see it's just continuing to go up. And I mean, limited amount of copies. Well, it looks like you got 2 pages, but so you got a decent amount of copies. But you can see here that you buy a couple copies, you're over 90, and then a couple more, you're up to 100. So this card could definitely see a buyout. This could see over $100 prices again, for which has been a long time since we saw that. Just like it, promo Digimon being something from the update pack, something that's limited, is just selling for crazy prices right now, $80. This is the Flame Dramon Syndrome all over again. So yeah, hope you got yours while the prices were low, because it's gonna be a while. And again, if these sell out, yeah, you're at $100 real easy, real fast. So it'll depend on how good the deck is once we get that new support. We're going to be getting more puppet support in BT22, more Orisa and Shumon stuff. So looking at stuff like that, the promo has been going crazy. $43 for the promo. It lets you play a free Shumon, and then lets you gain a memory when one of your puppets digivolves. So yeah, no, it's a good card. I'm not sure. Like, I've heard people say it's really good with the new support, and I haven't really taken a closer look, so I don't know for sure if that's true, because people were talking about it with Kaguyamon, and it's like, well, you don't really need it for Kaguyamon, and I was looking at it too. I'm not even playing it in the deck right now, but apparently it's really good with the new support, so we'll have to take that with a grain of salt, but we'll have to look into that. But because of that, it's just spiked up here. It's most recent sale $47, market price $52. You got decent amount of copies, I guess I'd say, but and won't see it rise in price too much for a little while, at least till 4 or 5 copies are bought, and then it could go over $50. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. The Orisa, the alternate art from EX9, that one's also gone up in price. You can see here, just a big spike right here. It was going down actually, and then had a huge spike, and now it's kind of tapering off a little bit, but still in the above the $20 range. And I think that'll stay for a while. You have a few copies at 20, and then 29, so it's probably going to hold pretty safely here. So you got to decide your pain threshold. Are you gonna get it now for 20, or are you gonna wait and see if it might go back down to 17, $16? Have to kind of make a decision, because it could go up even more again with the new support. That brings us to the Liberator rookies, the alt arts. These cards go crazy. They're always depending on what set is coming out, what's going on. One I didn't think about checking again too was the Sunrizamon, because I think we're going to get new Paridimon support in the next Liberator webcomic, so it'd be interesting to see if people are hyping that up, that card up. But we're seeing here Shumon here just spiking through the roof. It's over $30. This is probably the best it's ever been since release, or since pre-release. So that's interesting here. This is the EX9 one, and most recent sale 32 with a market of 20. So that's going to change quite soon. And you can see here trending up. There's not a huge amount of copies of saw a buyout. It would be $40, which is just nuts. Again, we were just talking about Sunriza. So yeah, this one here specifically is actually as well as trending up. It's not as much, but it is trending up from about $8, which is almost double its price. So again, that you're starting to see that Liberator rookie hype. So you always gonna want to keep these Liberator rookies in the back of your mind, because they see these kind of hype trains. I would definitely start to think about selling this guy right now, and then waiting to see when it goes down. On the alternative side, I mean, depending on what the support is for the deck, it might be good to pick these up right now before they go, because it could, you know, go through the roof like the Shumon and like the Sangomon from BT19, which has already seen like such a crazy spike, but at one time it was up around $50 when we were looking at it in a previous market analysis. It's not as much, but it's still on a, you know, upward trajectory from, you know, from a while back. Most recent sale again, $33 with market of 24, and all the copies are over 30, and you could see it go over 40 easily once a handful of these sell. Looking at Tai Kamiya again, seeing how the adventure deck is doing. I haven't seen an adventure top, not a top one topped the first regionals of June, online regionals, but didn't see one in the second half of the, I think it was the Play TCG. So, you know, it was all good. But about $40 right now, kind of is where it's sitting. It's gone up, it's gone down, it's kind of evened out at that $40 mark. This card's still really, really good for the deck, and one of the staples of it. So, and it's one of the only cards that like has an alt, because everything else is just started at cards, so it's really cheap. So yeah, this is the one card that you have to put you for money for this. And it's probably it's got pages. It's probably gonna stay around $40 for a while. Again, you never know with new adventure support. You know, we haven't seen people changing up the deck and doing like an Omnimon Ultra S thing with the new, you know, Metal Gray Alterius mode and Weregroom Sagittarius mode, which I'm kind of thinking about. Is it good, or is it just better to keep with the traditional, you know, the traditional deck that everyone else is playing? Diaboromon Ace, again, part of the BT22 Hype train that we're looking into, is, you know, the new decks, the new Errata Sonata, the new, you know, support for Diaboromon. This has come down quite a bit, but it's still kind of on the high end here. You see, like, you know, 27 is the market price, but most recent sale is 20. So this is coming down slowly. You know, you might want to wait a little bit longer to see if we can see it dip below, you know, $20. See if we can get. And there's a lot of copies here, decent amount of copies for $20. So, you know, I don't think it's going to see a buyout. I think this is starting to, you know, lose its hype train. It's starting to, you know, cool down. So just keep an eye on it. Of course, see, there's Omnimon Ace alternate art from the Secret Crisis. This is your DNA Digivolve deck, and with the new Nokia Shiramine, this is something that it's going to get a hype train because there is the Omnimon DNA Digivolve deck is getting more support. So it's depending if you're playing the new one or if you're going to play this one. Both are great options. You can kind of see here that it's been, you know, kind of cratered a little bit, and then now it's picking back up. Most recent sale 24. There's a ton of copies again, but you know, it could go up to about $30 should there be a buyout. I don't think there is. I think this card's gonna probably stay around this price. I think the hype is probably starting to die. You can kind of see here there's longer periods of it staying the same, and that's kind of like people kind of being like, yeah, no, I don't necessarily want to buy it and stuff like that. Longer periods without sales and stuff like that. So I think this is where it's at. So maybe if you have a copy, you sell it now, wait for it to come back down before you rebuy. Medieval Galamon's something I haven't seen. I haven't been seeing him in many tournaments. I haven't been seeing him, you know, show up very often really lately in the format. I'm seeing a lot less of him in decks. And so I wanted to check in and see how the pricing is going. It's still an amazingly expensive card. You know, $95. Its market price is $113, but it is coming down. You can see here it was up around $120, and it's slowly coming down. The sales are coming down. It's under $100 for this one, so it's becoming more affordable, and we're going to see that continue to come down because we have the reprint of it, the gold version from the Rise of Digimon box that's coming out in like October, I want to say. And so you're seeing, there's a lot of copies here for 95. So you're getting it for that, under 100. And if we go back here, we can, look and see, 75 for the other one. It's been trending down too. It was up around $100 too. So you're seeing that those prices come down, and we're seeing less play of it. So you're seeing that effect trickle down as it like loses some value because people don't need it anymore because they're not playing it in a lot of the decks they're playing. Leopardmon was another one I was wondering if it was going to get any hype because of the new Leopardmon Ace. It's not. We're seeing it decrease in price here. It was around $30. And now we're seeing it, shooting down to 20. It probably did have some hype before. We didn't, catch it during its prime, but now it's starting to see a cool off because I don't know if people are super excited for the new Leopardmon stuff, or maybe it's just you don't need this card in the deck. Maybe the Ace stuff is way better. We'll have to wait and see here. There's a lot of copies at $20, so I don't think it's gonna go up from here. And I mean, you can look at some of the other Leopardmon cards we looked at. You see that you got the Leopardmon X Antibody alternate is like $5, so it's not expensive at all. And then you see the pre-release on Leopardmon Ace is already like around $30, and that'll go down. Another hype card, Mirai Mikagura. It went up significantly from the time that we started getting that, BT22 hype, and then we have a new Mirai Tamer that lets you play these ones basically for free, but which is really, really cool. We didn't really get any direct Mastimon support other than the Mirai, so it's just funny that we're seeing a lot of hype for something where you're pretty much going to be playing the same deck. You might just tech in the new Mirai in order to help you get to your other Mirais faster. Because it's a 3 cost. It's interesting to see. We'll have to wait and see what happens with it, if this is going to make the deck better. But it's the only support card really, if you think about it. The BT22 only has the one support card, which is another Mirai. So it's interesting to see this hype. If it continues to go like this, if people continue to get excited, I could see this card going over $100. I just don't know why it would. But get your stuff together. It may wait a little bit, see if release gives you a little bit more of a bump, and then maybe sell it right then and there, and then buy it later when it inevitably goes down in price. Alphamon Uryuken Ace. That card is actually not seeing an increase. I wasn't sure if this card would be good with the new Alphamon build. I know it's really good in Royal Knights, and Royal Knights has been doing really good in the tournament scene, and it plays like 3 of this, so I would think that the price would have stayed pretty high, but it's actually trending downwards, trending quite down from where it was, had a little bit of a pickup, and then kind of back to where it was at around $25. So it's not terrible. So if you want copies of this to test in the new Alphamon, or if you're thinking about playing Royal Knights, I would say right now you're not going to see this go too much lower, as long as Royal Knights are a top deck, and as long as people are playing 3 copies of this in those Royal Knight decks, which is usually pretty common. You're gonna see it stay around this $25 mark. Might be even go back to 30, but you decide what your pain threshold is. Do you want to spend $75 to get 3 of these for your Royal Knights or for other decks, or do you want to spend $100 for a playset? You got to figure out what you're willing to spend on it. I don't think 25 is too bad, personally. Shadramon's coming down way in price. I haven't got any on my event pack, so I haven't seen if I pulled any of these. So it'd be funny because I'll be like, oh, I waited to pull these, and then I could just buy them because they're cheap. Market price is still up there, 30, 35. But we're seeing like lower prices, 28 here. Mostly sales around 30, but we're seeing people start to post it for less for that event pack version. 28, 30. I haven't seen any Virus Imperials top lately, so I'm not sure if this deck is just falling off the bandwagon, what's going on there. And if it's not seeing tops, that's when you start to see these card prices decrease, as well as now that event special event pack 2025 is continuing on for wave 2. You're going to see more copies on the market. I think people are already starting to see that if they want to sell theirs now at a higher price, they need to drop that price a little bit. So people are saying, oh, well, I'm not going to try and sell for 35. I'm going to sell for 30, maybe 28, 30. And, you know, that way I can sell it, because if I continue to wait and hold on to it, this card will be $15 by the end of the event pack's run. So, yeah. And finishing off here, we have a few more things here. We have the Ukomon stuff. We're looking at Uko because Purple Hybrid's been doing good. So whenever you have a deck that has the Uko engine, you kind of got to look at it and go, okay, is this still up here? You know, $35 for that alt. The regular art is which is just a rare, is $8, which is nuts. And then like 15 to 12 for the regionals participant or finalist. Yeah, and then of course the other Uko is $7, and it's a one of. Tons of good pricing. Like, you can make money off almost everything in this list except for the original promo card is the only thing that's super cheap. But you can make a little bit of money off everything in this list. So it's a good card to have, as well as a good card to sell if you have some extra copies. Bastimon is the last thing we're looking at, is the winner card from the Regulation Battle Volume 2. It's sitting here around $27. No sales history, no sold. A lot of people were trying to get 30 for this. Somebody offered me 30 for it, and I was like, no, I don't. I honestly want to wait until it's like 20 or lower. This card's gonna crash. It's not the greatest card. The Edamon was probably a better card, honestly. So I think this will come down just like the Omnimon X Antibody BT10 from the Evolution Cup Winter Pack. That card people were selling for like $60, and I managed to get mine all for $25 to $20. So that was actually really, really good. So yeah, so Bastimon, I wouldn't necessarily pick this up. I would wait to see what happens, because you might be able to buy it for $15 or less if you wait, a week or two. But that is all we have for the market analysis. Thank you guys for joining us for this. This was a big one because we hadn't really talked about individual prices because of EX9, and of course we're going to be doing a lot of pre-release stuff starting next week for BT22. So I wanted to do just a nice and juicy market analysis, get a lot of different things out there, show a lot of different information, and hope you guys got something valuable out of it. Hopefully you found some good information, and hopefully you will join us for our next market analysis like we do every Friday. Looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in. We hope to see you in the next video. And as always, have a wonderful day. And that's all for now, folks.